Alright, what's going on? So immediately, you'll notice I'm in a different part of my room. It's just kind of a weird time of day and everything was glaring the first time I tried this, so I just moved everything back here to the corner. But it's fine, it's a little bit more cramped, but it looks cool, so whatever. Yeah, so I got some records pulled out, a couple 7 inches and 5 12-inch records. All 5 of these 12-inch records are actually debuts, and in one sense or another. There's one that might not qualify, but I'll explain later. Also, for those of you guys who haven't seen this, this is my octopus lamp. I brought it in here for this video. It doesn't usually sit out here, but yeah, you get it. It's really fucking cool. It's got a big fucking octopus in there. And we're listening to Death in June in the background. Very nice. Whatever, fuck all that. Let's talk about some records. First thing I got here is a split. Now this came out in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. This is a split with King Dude and Earfaust. So obviously we know King Dude, we know Earfaust. Really weird kind of bands, I would think, to do a split, but it actually works quite well. And in my opinion, this is sort of at the end of King Dude's hot streak. This came out in 2013, which is in between Burning Daylight and Fear, and Burning Daylight is the last of what I consider to be King Dude's best albums, and Fear is sort of the beginning of the stuff that's a little bit too rock and rolly for me. But the song on here, the King Dude song on here, Paganize Over German Skies, is actually really fucking good. It kind of sounds like something that would have been on Burning Daylight. The Earfaust song is actually really cool too. I'm not a huge Earfaust fan. This is the only thing I have of theirs on vinyl. But the song on here is called Spiritus Nihilus. It's actually really fucking good. It's sort of like the first half of it is more of like almost like neo-folky, and then the second half sort of turns into more of a black metal song with like howled vocals and stuff. It might not qualify as black metal, but vocally it definitely is. Musically, I guess it's up for interpretation. But yeah, this is a really good split. There's the front cover there. I love the front cover. It's really, really fucking cool. Very nice image. There's the back, Earfaust, King Dude, picture of all the guys right there. Just a little bit of information. It doesn't come with anything. There was no specifications of like limitations or anything like that. I know this came on clear vinyl as well, and from what I understand, the clear vinyl might be the second press. The black vinyl would be the first, but yeah, very, very nice. So despite having this since like 2016, I don't think I've ever shown this before, and if I have, fuck, I'm very sorry, but even I don't remember, so I guess a lot of you may have forgotten as well. And I would say since I like the King Dude song more, and since I bought this for King Dude, I'll probably use King Dude in the little song clip. Yep, very good stuff. I love this thing. That's King Dude split with Earfaust. Okay, so from calm and creepy to noisy and abrasive. This is Intolerarian with Omnicidal Murderer. We all know Intolerarian, super polarizing, very noisy, staticky, like black metal, I guess. I think this was released in 2014. Originally on cassette and put on the 7-inch vinyl a little bit later. I don't remember when. If you guys haven't heard any of the Intolerarian stuff, this is basically exactly like the debut Intolerarian album. It's staticky, it's loud, it's noisy, the drums are fucking louder than anything. Vocally it's like yelled, and what's weird is, even though this is an absolute fucking wall of noise, you can almost understand what the guy is saying. You have to really listen, but it's not completely indecipherable. Very simple packaging, like I said. There's the front cover. That's the back cover. It just folds open, but there's nothing on the inside. Got a sheet on the inside here. It's just single-sided with a lot of this you know, fucking Antichrist Kramer rhetoric that we got here. And it is just single-sided black vinyl. That's one of the labels, and the other one says Berserker Grind Noisecore with just dead wax. So an absolute assault on the senses, but in my opinion it's in a good way, so very fucking cool. It's Intolerarian with Omnicidal Murderer. So let's get into showing some 12-inch records. Like I said, one of these might not qualify as a debut album, but I guess, sort of by some people's interpretations, this one might not either. Man, I am so pleased to own this thing. This is Beharit with Drawing Down the Moon. So probably one of my favorite albums. For about a year and a half, easily my most wanted record. Because it's easy to get on CD, but in terms of vinyl, it's just not. There's been a couple presses of this thing, some of them on Spine Farm. This is a Primitive Reaction press. And I think Cult Records also did like a picture disc of this one. This is Beharit's debut album from 1993, and I know a lot of people will argue that The Oath of Black Blood is the debut album from Beharit, but if you do the research, first of all, that is literally made up of a demo and an EP. It's a compilation. And I think it had something to do with insufficient funds from the label or something like that. They weren't able to record a full-length album. So this album came out in 1993, and it was pretty much almost immediately after this, like the next year, this band abandoned the black metal sound for about 16 years. Because I think it was the same year as this. They had the Messe des Morts EP come out, and then it was after that they went off and did that weird electronic shit until they came back with Ingram in 2009. But this is absolutely the best Beharit album, and I would argue that this is the most evil sounding album of all time. And I think that this album had a lot more influence than a lot of people give it credit for. Because, I mean, I think any one of us could probably name 10 Beharit ripoffs right off the top of our head. Some of them really good, not all of them. I'm actually going to talk about one a little bit later, but none of it even holds a candle to this. So this has some of my absolute favorite Beharit songs on it. Black Arts is really fucking good. The Gates of Nana is awesome. Nocturnal Evil, Solomon Gate, Holy Pagan Fire, Down There is a really good song. There's a couple interludes on this thing that are really cool, maybe like instrumentals. So there's the front cover, very cool. Not as cool as like The Oath of Black Blood or anything, but nice album cover anyway. If not for the Primitive Reaction, the back cover is the best way to tell the difference between presses, because some of them are in like, you know, like the normal color, and they have like a strip down the back. This one's like an orange, and it's got the Primitive Reaction. This is a 2009 press, by the way. Song titles and shit. I think all the gatefolds for every different version are the same. You have lyrics for 4 songs: Sadomatic Rites, Down There, Black Arts, and The Gates of Nana. It's kind of weird. I'm not really sure why they did it this way, considering that the songs are out of order. Because Down There is on side B, but it's listed here as the second song with lyrics, so I'm not really sure why they did it that way. There's a picture of the Earth from the moon, very cool. This is just black vinyl. I don't think this was ever pressed on anything except for black vinyl, apart from the picture disc. You got the Primitive Reaction label right there, and just Beharit Drawing Down the Moon right there. Again, man, one of the most evil sounding albums ever. You got great riffs. The vocals on this thing are some of the most distinct vocals probably ever. And like I said before, I think this had more influence than a lot of people give it credit for. One of my favorite albums, so check it out for the love of God. If you haven't heard this, that's Beharit with Drawing Down the Moon. Alright, next up here, this is a debut album from 2005, and another one of my favorite albums. This is Lurker of Chalice, self-titled album, obviously. So I do have an earlier press of this pulled out, which I'm going to show you just to sort of compare the two. This is the Die Hard version that Nuclear War Now just released. So quickly, let me show you what an earlier pressing of this thing looks like. Because there is a little bit of the art sort of missing on this newer Nuclear War Now version. So right off the bat, the color scheme is obviously a lot different on the front as well as on the back. They are both gatefolds. This is the Southern Lord, very simple on the inside there. And the Nuclear War Now version actually has the song titles and pretty cool images on the inside here. These images are also on the inner sleeves of the Southern Lord press, which you can see right here and right here. There's also another picture of like a split open wrist on one of these sides, which is very cool, that is not on the Nuclear War Now version. And we've all seen what they look like, but I'll show you the version that I have here. Very cool. A super fucking cool like foil stamped logo, which is gorgeous. But they also came in some pretty cool colors. And like I said, I do have the Die Hard. I'm not going to show you both records because they are identical. But it is this like bronze colored vinyl right here, which I don't have many of, and it looks really fucking nice. Besides that, the Die Hard does come with a few things. First, you get this Lurker of Chalice sticker, which I'll never use for anything. You get a very big Lurker of Chalice poster. I could give a fucking room tour with the glare of this goddamn poster. You also get this Lurker of Chalice pin, which I have on my jacket. It's huge, but it actually fits quite nicely. I know you guys are gonna see a lot of this. You guys have probably already seen a lot of this. I don't know who's shown it yet, but melody and atmosphere just absolutely towers over anything that Leviathan ever released. It's dark, it's ambient, vocals range from retches to whispers to spoken words to chants. There's keyboards, there's acoustic passages. This album is just gorgeous, and it's one of my favorite albums for a good reason. I love it to death. If you guys haven't heard it, fucking hell, for the love of God, check this out. 10 out of 10, man. That's Lurker of Chalice. Another record that's pretty much unbeatable. This is Dimmu Borgir with For All Tid. So this is the first Dimmu Borgir album from 1995. And besides this and the album that came right after this the very next year, Stormblast, this band is not something you'll hear me talk about. Because basically the next year after Stormblast came out, this band metaphorically face planted. Everything that's come out from this band in the past 22 years now is heinous beyond compare. I can't stand any of it. And if you guys have heard that new song, ooh, fuck. But I tell you what, man, this almost makes up for all the shit that this band has put out, because this album is another perfect 10 out of 10. Being from 1995, the heavy synth stuff was kind of a no-no from what I've been told. And this is sort of in league with stuff like Abigor at the time was doing synth stuff, because I think that Noctimnen album came out in 1995 as well. Besides that, obviously Cradle of Filth was putting out albums that was heavy on synth stuff. But I would say that this is my favorite album that does it. This album is epic and folky. It's got some of the best fucking vocals. And actually, Aldrin does vocals on one of these tracks here. I think it's the third one, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously Aldrin from Dodheim's Garden, Old Man's Child. Really fucking good, man. Anyway, I'll show you the cover here. Really fucking cool. It's a lot better in black and white than it was when they did the color version, which I have the CD of. It looks like that. Yeah, it looks a lot better in black and white. There's the back there. You got all the song titles and shit like that. See, inside you got just the front cover without the logo. And some really silly band pictures. This motherfucker right here, this is up there with some of the worst fucking band pictures of all time. Look at that fucking guy. This one too. I just got the black vinyl, just band logo on that. Very cool. Yeah, this is one that you don't hear enough about, but it's one of the better Norwegian black metal albums in my opinion. I love this thing to death, and you guys should too. So that's Dimmu Borgir with For All Tid. Okay, so from Norway to Belgium. This is Perverted Ceremony with Sabbath of Beheziel. This is Drawing Down the Moon worship done properly. And if you guys have heard this thing, that is what it sounds like. First of all, this sounds like something that could have been pulled right out of the early 90s. And that's mostly thanks to the lo-fi production, the fuzzy, distorted guitars. It really does sound like a Beherit album. Vocally, it's goddamn near identical to Drawing Down the Moon style vocals. Musically, it's something that Beherit would have done back in the day, and this is just, I'm so glad that this fucking exists. Now, I think that this is the Die Hard version of this. I honestly don't fucking remember, really. So it's just kind of like an advertising sheet on the inside, so I'm not gonna pull that out. But, yeah, man, this thing is fucking awesome, and I'll show you the packaging. Here's the front cover, really fucking cool. I like the album cover a lot. I'm not really convinced by the band logo, but whatever. There's the back there. Really fucking cool picture of these dudes. Very nice. The vinyl itself is a sort of weird choice. With this pink with like pink splatter, or pink with red splatter or whatever. You got the band logo on the label there. And Nuclear War Now on this side. And besides that, you have a poster, which I have right up here. Yeah, really fucking cool. I like that poster. So, just lo-fi rotten black metal, man. This thing is another 10 out of 10. I love this thing. in my opinion, this is probably the best band that Nuclear War Now has got going for them. If you haven't heard Perverted Ceremony, you gotta get on it, man, because this shit is second to none right now. So, Perverted Ceremony, Sabbath of Behaziel. Alright, finally, this is the one that I would say people would say doesn't qualify as a debut, but it kind of is. This is Mayhem with De Mysteriis Dom Satanas Alive. So this is obviously the debut Mayhem album, played start to finish, live. And I think this was recorded in Sweden, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, December 18th, 2015 in Sweden. And I believe this is actually put out in December of 2016. So just a year after the actual show was recorded, but this thing sounds really fucking good. Everything on here is very easily distinguished. You can hear each instrument, you can hear the vocals really nicely. The crowd's not overly loud or anything like that. It sounds great. Obviously I don't have to go into the track listing because it's just the entirety of the first album. But obviously my favorite performance on here would be Life Eternal, because that's my favorite Mayhem song. But anyway, whatever. Packaging, really fucking, obviously just a recreation of the original cover, just a different color scheme. There's a back with a picture of the show right there. You got a track listing. This is the second pressing. 666 copies. I believe this was just self-released by the band. You got a collage right there, just some pictures of the show. And you got a really nice image on the other side of the gatefold right there. Love this, very cool. Double LP, just black vinyl, but that's what the labels look like. I particularly like this label right here. It's very simple, but it's very cool. So great performance overall. You even have a couple of the original members, obviously, who recorded the original album. Being Attila and Hellhammer. Necrobutcher, who also contributed to the first album, plays on this as well. And besides that, I'm not sure who these other dudes are. But a fantastic performance, a great record. Just no reason for you guys not to own this thing. This is kind of essential, so it doesn't feel like one of those Peaceville cash grab things that has been going on lately. It's just really good, man. You guys need it. So, yep, Mayhem, De Mysteriis Dom Satanas Alive. Alright guys, that's it. I might stick with this angle for another video or so. Maybe not, maybe I'll move it back. We'll see what happens. But I have some ideas for some shit coming up. So we'll see how all that goes. And till then guys, thanks for watching. Later.